are people with a clean slate. You know, when God came into the world, he didn't come to the temple and he didn't come to the palace. Wise men thought he would come to the palace. Do you know, I would have gone with the wise men. If a king was to come, he would go to a palace. If the King of Kings would come, he would go to the biggest palace that we know of. And so they went to the biggest palace. I would say that was smart thinking, but they were totally wrong. The God of heaven came in humility, and he came in poverty, and he came down to earth there in the manger. That is a feeding trough. Now that is not the way I would expect God to come. But here's the interesting thing about the shepherds. It was no difficulty for humble people to accept God in humility. It was no difficulty for poor people to accept God in poverty. That was a norm for them. It was no difficulty for people who were down to earth to accept that a God would come from heaven down to earth to speak to them. They were, in a sense, clean slates. They didn't have any preconceptions. Isn't that wonderful? To meet God the way that God decides he's going to meet me, rather than the way I tell God he's got to meet me. You've got to meet me in a church. You've got to meet me in some kind of cathedral. You've got to meet me in some special, miraculous way. But the God of heaven had from the very beginning, right the way back in the book of Genesis, you'll read about it. From the very beginning, God had said, I'm going to come. I'm going to come by a woman in Genesis. I'm going to come by a virgin in Isaiah. And I'm going to come to a tiny little place called Bethlehem.